it's the best in our hearts. I think if there's anybody that can get a team to that next level, similar to how Fata and Tundra have found success, I think rASmus has played this game long enough that, you know, he's won a major. Like, this guy knows what he's doing. He might be old, he might be bald, but he's gonna show you how bald he is.
Oh, Tundra! They've stumbled in to the Hellbear Smash.
There you go.
Easy first blood. The boys just sit on top of their triangles, 5-man, and wait, Kyle. That part of the meta hasn't changed.
No, it has not. And I love the drafts coming out from these sides. We saw Bounty Hunter. This hero is going to be first, too, all day in this region. This is a hero we're going to see a lot of. And then the Darkseer Spirit Breaker. From Tundra. I think this is, you know, the debut of Sneyking as well. Traveled across the pond to participate. One of the more underrated 4-3 positions. There's MSS and there's Sneyking. I think that both are known to kind of swap back and forth between roles that play the offlane, but he's been underrated for some time. He works very hard. My brother squatted up with him for a few months back on Complexity and praised his work ethic. You know, he's a thinker. He likes to theory craft a lot about what can be good, what drafts work, and he grinds. So I think it'll certainly help out Tundra, although I will miss Biver. Love that kid too. Fun players got to stick together.
I will say that the my experience with Sneyking is that guy makes me feel very dumb about Dota.
Well, it doesn't...
He's like, why aren't you doing this? And I'm like, you're right, I really should be.
Yeah.
All right, Gilgir. He's going to be run down here. He is going to just TP away. All right, well, that's nice and clean.
Yep. And this Spirit Breaker pick, this is traditionally the counter to the Bounty Hunter. You know, you grab a Dust, you ever see him on the map, you get a charge off, and it's very easy to take him down. Look to see this Dire lineup place a bunch of high ground ward sentry combinations, because you'll catch him hunting couriers or some such, and then a charge into a TP is almost always going to get you a free kill.
I also like the fact that they're tri-laning at the start, because I always feel like right now when I'm playing 4 position with Darkseer, I just don't really provide that much. It feels like I'm just sharing experience with him and not really providing any pressure. Because he's pushing it into the tower, so it's like as a melee 4, like what am I really going to do with that? So much better for him to get level 3 perhaps, and then maybe you can rotate down there. 33 is going to be chased down right now by tOfu, and if he lands enough of these fire spirits, he may actually get the kill. He's still got a fairy fire. He's gonna pop that one. The last fire spirits will not land. He'll survive with 90 health.
Wouldn't have killed him anyway. That damage has been nerfed a bit. When it was 20 damage a tick, it was pretty absurd at level 1. Now only 15, of course. And yeah, the other thing is they've buffed power armor and regen so much that you just can't dive. Like, you have a Tusk Darkseer, you're not killing anybody under this tower until like level 4+. Yeah. So it makes sense, although it is certainly a struggle. I like this. You know, you just play with the lane mechanics. Sneyking going to pull and just make this really annoying for Hellbear.
Meanwhile, our mid matchup, we haven't actually talked about that one too much. 9 is going to be playing that mid Beastmaster, trying to take advantage of the bottle situation that's currently happening. Earlier bottles, thanks to a more guaranteed refill with the water runes available. And then on top of that, this is just what people have been kind of experimenting with when it comes to Beastmaster,
well,
the Axe build.
We're talking about in the pregame. The Beastmaster got buffed. Yeah, they removed Necro, but you give this hero that already had insane base damage, base armor, move speed, attack animation, BKB piercing ultimate. Mid, it makes a ton of sense. The Axe build is very strong. Your damage output is pretty nasty, and Solar Crest is cheaper now. The HOD build's always a possibility, but as you said, the Ags Rush. We've seen it able to solo Roshan with, I don't know how long that'll last, but I dig it.
Yep, and then people are building like E-Blade and even Dagon afterwards just to be able to maximize all that magic damage and the amplification they're getting off of the wild axes. It's pretty crazy and very annoying to deal with. Just constantly this guy throwing out the axes over and over again at you from a very long distance. I believe you would kind of refer to that. Is that a dangle or a tangle? I've lost track. That long distance, low commitment damage?
That's what we call LRC. Which is a totally different strategy concept that goes all the way back to, I think, Toronto in the days of BD Pros, 1817 plus champs. The long-range cannons, you combine them together and deal damage from a frame away.
I have no idea what you're referencing, but we're going to have a charge away. 9 is having a bit of a problem with his mana. He's constantly being EMP'd by Stormstormer, and perhaps that's part of the reason that this Invoker is taking a lead in CS in the mid lane.
Yep. It's really nice to play this Invoker against heroes like Spirit Breaker. It's really their only interrupt, so he'll likely have to, it has to be Quas Flex. If not for the Breaker, maybe you can experiment with Exort. It certainly would be better for you in the laning phase, but you need that interrupt on the charge.
rASmus looks like he got a little too close there to the troll in the top lane. What do you think about the new Dazzle? I'm not convinced by it, but maybe rASmus will prove something different here as we're going to go back in time here and see what happened to rASmus. Looks like with the big creep wave coming in, he was feeling himself, ends up getting a little bit caught out by Fata while his support, I believe, was trying to do some pulling, so. Standard offlane stuff. Get a little bit too aggressive while your support's trying to pull.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about, oh, hang on. Yep, there's that charge on the Wind's Bounty. That's a free kill. You mean the Ags on Dazzle?
I mean, they also gave that shard pickup that now like hexes people and stuff.
The shard is cool. I think the Ags is actually pretty nuts. A dispel that is AoE is pretty absurd, and it also can do some pretty significant damage and heal. Like, it's such a low cooldown spell. You also then get CDR from your ultimate, so it's pretty significant to have a 240 heal nuke on a 6-second or lower cooldown.
Yeah, I just I mean, I'm just not convinced, mostly because of the fact that I feel like the hero would have been good last patch.
With the Necro Book?
With the, you know, now Necro Books aren't there, and I feel like that was one of the Dazzle's finest items. So, but we'll see. I've only watched it like once or twice. So.
I think something maybe like the Dazzle PL of old could be pretty nasty. But I do agree, it doesn't. That's always been the trouble with Dazzle as a core. What items do you buy? I've seen Holy Lockets, you saw Necro Books, you see Greaves, Solar Crest, Drums. I don't, who knows?
Speaking of Holy Locket, that's another item that got buffed up yet again. They've got good ways to hunt down this bounty hunter, man. Every single time he shows himself, he's getting homing missiles, he's potentially getting charged. Skiter's helping out quite a bit, being very active at helping his support battle against the bounty.
I'm disappointed in rASmus there. Does not drop the Null Talisman to use the Mango. But perhaps that's just the experience. You know, if you drop items on the ground, sometimes things can go awry quickly. The Phoenix also, I just realized, doesn't really have too many answers. Yeah, theoretically Troll, get the Beastmaster attack speed, or you can take it down with the BKB, but it's a very good pick, and we saw it used a lot at the Major.
You know what you can get, Kyle?
What can you get?
You can get that fancy new shard that the Troll has. The, what's it called? It's not Battle Chain, it's a whole new ability. Rampage or something?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. Rampage!
All allied heroes, 70 attack speed. Huh.
Yeah, that one's kind of weird.
That's really weird. And it's like, it seems like an Ag's ability, and it's just a shard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another discussion. We had all these heroes now. You know, first there was that patch where everybody got a scepter. Now everyone has a shard as well. It's like, does something change at 20 minutes? If you pick, you know, you save the gold and hit like a StarCraft timing, it's like, oh no, the Archons are coming, and then you suddenly are finding yourself with the tier 3. No, the Banelinks. That's the big timing. You get the tech and then roll into the base. I missed Pro StarCraft.
I'll be honest, I never got into StarCraft. I was a Warcraft boy.
Yeah, me too. The Warcraft remaster is still one of the most disappointing launches. Yeah, I was so excited, and then the game just sucked. They didn't even have ladder. How do you release a game without ladder? What am I playing for, if not raiding?
It's true, they just don't understand gamers at that point. The getting back into this game, I feel like specifically for heroes like Troll and stuff, these carries that don't want to invest their gold into something like a shard because they're thinking about bigger and better items, they don't want to delay. That that's not 20-minute Roshan, but the second Roshan that gives away a shard.
Yeah.
I feel like these extra shard abilities are even more important when you're able to get that shard for free if you get that second Roshan. I feel like these carries are going to be the biggest beneficiaries of something like that.
Yeah, I'm just realizing, check out the net worth. This bottom lane has been a disaster for this Dire lineup. You have an Armlet soon to finish on Ace, but you know, tOfu has more net worth than the Darkseer. The Wraith King has been jungling. He's level 8. and he's getting this all out of the woods, whereas tOfu, he's just 1v1 against the Darkseer and dominating. He'll be 6 in a moment. This charge might backfire. There it is. You can't kill him anymore now. This lane is kind of a disaster. Yeah, 3-3 does not have a game.
They're gonna swoop in, they're gonna try. They might be able to catch him here.
Just hit 6.
Ion Shell, he's got his level 6, but he's got to get the Fire Spirits out on him. No vacuum to stop that dive away.
No, the Spirit Breaker hits 6 and immediately then gets the ult off, but there's like, where's the damage?
Yeah.
What is gonna happen off
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Tundra gonna make a move here to see if they can catch Gilgir. Does get dusted, unfortunately for the boys of Tundra. He is just outside of their vision.
I think Gilgir, I mean, could be afraid of the Spirit Breaker, but I would have liked to see him do much like we saw in that previous matchup. Hunt more couriers, you know, high ground, the puppy wards I call them, those deep high grounds on both sides of the jungle. That's how you play this. Every courier is worth like a hero kill or more.
Well, they don't have level 6 quite yet, but they still managed to find a kill with Gilgir there, as they're going to try and put some early pressure on this mid lane. Meanwhile, tOfu back and away is going to be able to pop the egg. Did he manage to get both of them? Looks like they are not going to be able to kill that egg. And if anything, the Phoenix is going to be able to get his revenge. Turning around, going on to Sneyking here. Still has his dive. Oh, no. Oh, they get him just finally. The cold snap there. I thought maybe Stormstormer was going to pay for a little bit of greediness. Skiter TPing in to try and defend this mid lane. They're saying the Invoker's not here. We should definitely defend our towers, guys. And 9 with this constant axe spam is going to make them pay for it a little bit. No, actually, Ace doesn't even lose his reincarnation.
Way too tanky with that armlet, even when not toggled on. Just realized as well, you have some pretty cool synergy with the, I was about to say the Dazzle and the Troll, but that's not how it works. They're on opposite teams.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Cap?
Yeah, that is definitely true. You cannot shallow grave an enemy hero. The game literally will not let you make them.
EMP the Beastmaster, he is no longer a hero in a fight.
100%. I mean, this is a hero that likes long, drawn-out fights. He wants to be able to hit you with the axes 2 or 3 times before he makes the commitment. Yeah. And Invoker kind of makes it so longer drawn-out fights usually work to his favor thanks to EMP. Burning you out of those resources. They're going to go land the missile here. They're going to go for it. Stormstormer underneath this assault is going to be able to get off the tornado onto 2. Sneyking is going to be forced away. The bouncy shuriken, though, is managed to finish him off. They pull him back in with a vacuum, but it's still not enough to cleanly win this fight. Tundra, once again, forced on the retreat as a second shuriken comes in. That won't finish off 33, but it'll keep them nice and low. They are desperate, Kyle, to hold on to this mid tower, but I don't think they can anymore.
I don't think so either. This is just dead. This is, you know, we talk a lot about armlet. That's why we saw so much of the major as well on Lifestealer. When you give it to the Wraith King, same effect. Not only do you have 2 lives, it is the most cost-efficient item in terms of damage survivability. It's also buffed a bit. I think there's 40 health drain instead of 50 as it was previously.
Sneyking, fearless, but maybe that's not a good thing. Sneyking, that charge felt a little pointless.
They have the bounty too. Is that they got track off there, I believe.
Yeah, they're certainly racking up some track kills. Yeah. They are now 3,000 net worth ahead on the side of the Smashers. They have better map control. This sort of stuff is certainly going to build up, as I don't think a lineup with this mid Beastmaster, an off-lane Darkseer, and a Troll is really going to be able to play that much together. 9's going to be caught out, does manage to get off around, turns around and goes for it, goes for the kill on the Stormstormer, doesn't quite get him, but maybe Fata can exact a little bit of vengeance here, but the Phoenix egg is going to go off, sure, they're going to finish off Stormstormer, but now they're stuck under the assault of this egg. It's going to explode right on top of the Gyrocopter. They're going to catch up to Sneyking as well, who has no chance of surviving here. Smashers, once again.
That's so worth it. It's actually good that they didn't EMP the Beastmaster and lose the Invoker, because both of those kills are track gold. I will take a core for 2 supports. Typically you'd say is even, but with track in effect, that's like an extra 500 plus gold that Smashers pick up. Plus they now get a free objective. It is so dangerous. If you're playing against a bounty hunter and there's better team fight on the bounty hunter's side, you just don't really have options anymore.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And yeah, this roar is what forces, not forces I suppose, but that's what gives them that double TP opportunity. suddenly all this focus is on the bottom lane, but you're fighting into egg. That's never a winning situation.
As a result of all that, Smashers
Four-man
are
track kill, two of them.
They're getting a lot of gold now. Their team fight's getting stronger and stronger. With rASmus finishing up the completed mech, they're gonna have a solar crest soon on Bounty Hunter.
That was a terrifying image. Anybody who plays Dota sitting like that is serious.
Oh, did he have
The one leg up? Like
one leg up?
Oh man,
Yeah, that's a classic.
like I remember that. The rASmus.
Oh, Rams.
known for that.
No. That
Beyond
kid just
godlike.
fits both his feet. He's not
Yeah.
touching the ground. It's all on the chair.
Yep. Abed, same deal.
Oof.
Ice, ice, ice. What do you know? They make it to a major final. Telling you.
The secret is the knee.
Yep.
It's like Captain Falcon. It's the knee of justice. Gotta watch out for it. It's a killer move. 8-4, 15 minutes in. 15 minutes means that bounty runes are indeed spawning. Got to keep track of that.
Yep. Yeah, the downside of the Tundra lineup is that other than Spirit Breaker, it's their supports. They don't have a core that really wants to get active, and that can be dangerous. Typically, yeah, you'd say it's 3-3 on the Darkseer, but that laning phase did not go well, and Dazzle plus Skeletons, holy crap, this is going to be a really free Roshan. They've been down on anybody, they do indeed, on the bounty, but he's just chilling mid, doesn't even need him.
No, he's collecting the extra experience in mid lane. I wonder if he's going to pick up that shard when it comes up to around 20 minutes.
And Ace already has a relic. It is very farm Wraith King. Skiter, of course, with the Battle Fury and the Possessed Mask. By far the best neutral item for a troll. You could argue it's even better than anything he'd get from the second tier. So he'll be able to keep up, and in theory, as the game continues, he'll match up quite well against the Wraith King, but his team is behind. The Ags is up for 9, however, with an Invis rune to boot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And if Smashers are able to take a tier 2 pretty soon, then they can start racking in that, or taking away the experience from Tundra. What are your thoughts on that? Because I have a theory that's actually, that makes it better to snowball.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Compared to, so now you get the experience constantly, right? As opposed to directly at the 10-minute mark.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So teams before, when you were behind, you could at least try and make a play, a smoke play, off of like, you know, trying to get a team fight and getting the outpost last second in time for the experience. Now that it's a constant thing, I feel like
it a lot
the
more.
advantage of the winning team.
Yeah,
you like it
but
more?
I think it's better just because, you know, in this spot, right? Let's say you take the outpost.
Okay.
It gives Tundra 3 minutes to just make a move and take it back. I like this. I just like it more. You also get immediate benefit when you take that map control. You should be rewarded if you kill an enemy tier 2 in 15 minutes instead of 23.
Forced away, Sneyking. And they do have very good high ground defense. That being said, I feel like a lot of Dota, especially over the last year, teams have gotten really good at not going high ground, Kyle. Teams have gotten really good at just controlling the map and choking people out. So even though Tundra may have this Beastmaster spamming axes nonstop on the high ground, they can still just control the map. They don't quite do it here, though. They try and rotate to catch the troll and leave rASmus behind. So maybe not quite the best example of that, but, you know, these things happen.
They do. I mean, no. Won't make the joke I was gonna make. A big rASmus fan.
Big rASmus fan.
Always happened.
Always have been.
Yeah, man, we go back. It's starting to get a little strange on me. Dota is one of those games I'm sure many fans will understand. Like, you started playing Dota, you never really stop.
Yeah.
So you look back and you're like, holy crap, it's been 9 years. What happened?
Yeah. And did you play Dota 1?
Only a few
You
games
did a little
as
bit,
an
right?
amateur.
Yeah.
I used to first pick Riki and ask somebody on my team to pool me boots. I carry. And some people would.
Dire's bottom
It's
tower
great.
is
Poor
under
souls.
attack.
Yeah, I was like 11 or 12. Yeah, so Ace, this is how you want to play it though if you're Smashers. You know, just take these towers. You've got so much tempo and pressure. Get your team gold up as much as you can. Continue to force. You have the Aegis on the Invoker, and you can force the enemy team all back in face, and you're just going to continue. Careful, Sneyking.
Sneyking is in right now. He's going to gain the Cold Snap. Sun Raid slowly burnt out. The work here. tOfu's gonna have to dive on out of there.
Yeah.
But he should be good as this rocket will not even touch him.
Get the Aether Lens now too, man. This is just a straight up axe build. The nerf to the mana cost from 80 to 65, it's just absurd. He actually just has infinite axes.
Yep.
It's sort of like any movie that has some kind of archer. They just ignore the fact that he's shot 100 arrows and yet his quiver is still somehow full of arrows. In this case,
So you're saying this is more realistic because his axes come back to you?
yeah,
Understandable.
it's like Thor's hammer. It makes sense.
Yeah, I treat axes like boomerangs all the time, as we're going to watch Fata step outside of his base and immediately get his head cut off. So they've learned their lesson. No more low ground excursions unless you're a troll. If you're a troll, you're allowed to step outside the base and
It's so hard.
try and find a few creeps. As long as you don't get spotted by anybody, but I think he just did. I think Gilgir just spotted the troll. Or did he? No, he TP'd back in time. He was pinging him, but yeah, he is going to go for the shard. We'll have that pretty soon. Sneyking. About to get 4-shot by Ace if he stands still any longer.
My allies have earned their kill.
Let's see. Blink next. I like that decision. You really need to have that catch. Well, not really catch. You need to be able to blink on top of these guys. Get on the gyro. Get on the Darkseer. Even the Beastmaster. Because if you can't close the gap, 9 will just spam axes until your team is dead.
You know, it actually would make more sense if instead of wild axes, they were called tamed axes. Because they come right back. Domesticated axes.
But he's a wild man, so his axes are also wild. And because he is a wild man, he controls, and only he can control them. The same way only 2 other people could pick up Thor's hammer, other than Thor. In the lore, at least. I mean, anyone worthy could.
Yeah, of course, in the lore. You know, I'm surprised that Smashers aren't farther ahead. Maybe that's some of the effect of our change in economy, right? We had the bounty runes giving less. So now when you do control the map and you are able to get, in this case, both of the bounty runes where it used to be 4, you're actually getting less gold for all that. Wraith King has multiple lives to work with here, as he is not going to lose his reincarnation, thanks to Shalagrid.
The axes are just insane. Like the roar setup, he knows he's dead because there would be 2 more axes thrown in that time frame. So the grave has to come out and they disengage. And Smashers, they're not as far ahead as well just because they've put a lot of pressure onto these tier 3s. This is the 3rd time they've forced a full team response. They got 800 damage to the top tower and 1400 to the bottom tier 3. So they're chipping away quite nicely, but how much will that matter? Will they look to maybe push high ground hard with the second Aegis? We'll have to find out soon. It will be fading, or has been faded. It can spawn in just a minute. Now a blink on the Invoker as well, so look to see them just get straight onto the back line and try to blow up 9 and the support duo, but he will have a BKB soon, likely in time to defend high ground.
What's Skiter's item set at? How's he doing?
About a 50 BKB, nothing crazy, but solid.
So he can fight right now, but the problem is he's currently stuck in the base. Before, at least he was out and about and he was able to kind of find some farm away from the Smashers. But in this situation, where you're all stuck inside your base and your carry is the only one allowed to be able to take any lane creeps that are coming your way, this feels quite bad. And anybody who starts to leave is immediately scouted out by Gilgir, potentially routed. As they scout him, they're going to be able to quickly kill Fata as he dares once again. And I feel like they keep on learning the same lesson. You go outside the base, you're going to die.
This brings you back to TF5 days playing with Fly. It's like whenever you're ahead, you saw them do this in OG throughout most of their major wins. Just camp this high ground, right? Control bottom, control mid. You've got a box hero who's going to deal with top inevitably if necessary. And just, they want to leave the base? All right, well, we're attacking you. If they run up high ground, they must die.
So what is the counterplay to this?
It's to shove out top and create some sort of map instability. The trouble is no one on Tundra can really shove waves safely. Like Troll could, but he's gonna have to spend a BKB charge if he wants to TP away. And other than that, it's tough. You don't really, you need vision, right? Your initiation is a charge or it's a roar. And you don't have vision in order to make that sort of thing happen.
Well, somebody just showed themselves top. Tundra try and come out, but it's not looking so hot. Snaking's pretty much diving in to his death. At this point, I feel like Snaking's almost doing it on purpose. As Gilgir is going to be saved by the shallow grave. Skiter's like, well, I got to hit something. So he starts going for the bounty hunter. It's going to take a while. Let's get some hits just in time right at the end. Ace is going to get slowed down and loses reincarnation. Skiter still has his ultimate. He's going to pop BKB, pop the ultimate, and just rip into Ace. But they do manage to get off the supernova and the shallow grave, so he's going to stay alive for a while. Once the stun's going to be able to come in, but the Wraith King not able to get off a good armlet towards the end there. Almost immediately dies as the shallow grave runs out. Gilgir, he's going to be the next victim here. No, actually, Sneyking wants a little bit more out of that. Managed to get his ultimate onto rASmus. That way, they get an additional kill, and maybe even a little bit more as tOfu. He may be run down here. Doesn't have an Icarus dive. Sneyking, he's got a charge coming up soon, but they got to be careful of this Invoker. So Tundra finally going to win, finally get outside of their base, thanks to pretty much Sneyking just diving in there with a buyback in his back pocket. Unfortunately, that is now a dieback for him, but it is also potentially death for tOfu. Gets a charge away. Fortunately, the Stormer saves his support's life.
Really nice fight there. And yeah, heads up play by Sneyking. I'm sure he was aware of and made his team know, look, I will buy back. I'm going to just straight up face check this high ground. I know I'm going to die, but I'm the only hero on this team that can immediately get
Oh my
back.
God, he's got the shard. Really?
You're gonna hit the Sunstrike.
But like,
okay.
I didn't think the shard was that good, but you know.
I mean, it just guarantees the hit. Can't juke it anymore.
I mean, you kind of can.
Point being, you buy that, you spend the buyback, but you can see the issue that you're inevitably going to face as Hellbear Smashers. This troll will eat your Wraith King alive. In addition, 3-3 did a good job. He got the Wraith King illusion. So you have that Radiance burn and the mischance being applied. And now we'll just, yeah, he just straight up dropped the bomb.
I mean, look how spread out those are. That's my problem with the shard.
And how do those not destroy trees? It's a rolling ball of fire.
All right, listen, I've seen everybody's complaints about like, my realism, macro fire doesn't burn down trees. Guys, it's a fantasy video game with a bunch of wizards and stuff. If it doesn't burn down trees, I think it's more of a buff than a nerf. You kidding me? You know how many times somebody's in when you go try and juke through trees and you're able to lay down AoE damage through that area, they're stuck in that area for longer because they can't run a straight path.
Sure. But I'm just saying you lose continuity.
Continuity?
It's a flaming ball of fire. Like it should.
What continuity, Kyle?
Didn't it destroy trees in the past?
Well, yeah, sure.
There you go.
There's a lot of things that used to happen in the past, Kyle. What continuity do you want? What?
Radiant's bottom tower.
Let's focus on this high ground siege. Cap, we've got the Aegis on the Invoker. He's gonna actually TP bottom, looking to set up. There's nobody there, but prediction: Skiter will be there, as expected. He's gonna look to just shove off lanes. And eventually be forced to TP back. Sure, Stormstormer found him.
Stormer, he knows what Skiter's up to. Skiter, he knows he's
like,
gonna try and pull some creeps and TP out. Managed to force a lot of people. Look at the enemy. Tundra, they're getting in there. They've caught some people. They're gonna be able to take down two here as this egg is not gonna last for long. It gets scrambled up and thrown apart. They are still gonna try and fight this, really?
Oh, no way.
They say no BKB on Skiter, but I don't know. Okay. Two-man tornado. Nice little meatballs coming in. A trio of them. Skiter is going to be stunned up, so won't be able to chase quite as easily.
It was really heads up by Skiter. As soon as you saw him just kind of notice, I can even see in my mind's eye him laughing. Like, these guys are really trying to, I have BKB. How are they going to kill me? Well, what's their plan here? Even steals a creep wave. And the moment he calls Invoker bot, his team immediately ran forwards and cast spells on enemies to find kills. You got to be really disciplined to keep your team alive when you try and make these plays across map against a Spirit Breaker. Because all Sneyking has to do is charge you with vision.
Yeah, I feel like that was very chaotic from the Smashers. I felt like they were doing that frantic, guys, I got the carry, you know, like, and they're just like mass TPing without like really, you know, thinking it out. You got to know that Tundra's, they're trying to find their way out into the map. The best way for them to do that is to split you up. Smoke's gonna break. Ward and Sentry nicely placed right there. Getting some decent information. There's still more heroes smoked, but the BKB is back up for Skiter. They're going to run into Gilgir. They're going to start with that. Ace, though, blinking in, immediately going to be trampled board up. The Shellgrave is going to be able to buy a little bit of time here for Gilgir, but surely he's going to die to some of this AoE damage. Gyrocopter is able to finish him off. Ace is being kind of run around here. He's trying to put some damage onto the trolls. Skiter is going to turn around, thinking about popping that ultimate. Not quite yet. He's going to wait until Ace potentially for his second life here. Well, they're actually going to retreat. They're not going to go for it. I thought he was going to once again pop the ultimate and see if he can beat Ace to a pulp, but decides against it. Instead, they're playing Rockon here on 9. He's just laying the axes into them, constantly throwing them around. The damage is significantly building up. rASmus stuck on a cliff here. He's going to be partially saved by a tornado, but he's got nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide neither. So Tundra hold the high ground, daring Smashers to come up and fight them. Meanwhile, the axes are flowing. They do have the egg to be able to go off with the dive. Skiter's going to pop his ultimate. They're going to try and ult the egg. They do manage to kill it, but Skiter, can he deal with Ace and Stormstormer without his BKB? They still have that Aegis up on Stormstormer. He can blink forward very aggressively, go for this kill onto Skiter. Fata's going to come in through the side here, but he can't really save his carry. He's going to be burned out eventually. Fata, he's not going to last for long unless the axes, they're building up. Storm, oh, he lost his life. Fortunately, Reincarnation was back up for the Wraith King. Now, the second life of both the cores are going to come through a blink forward. Managed to get a nice vacuum out of 33. Meanwhile, 9, he just doesn't have anything left in the tank. Nobody to help him. That's going to be Tundra losing more than 5 with multiple buybacks coming through. Nobody left to have a defense here. That is going to be Smashers taking buildings.
I can't believe they reinitiated there. Like, they got the Aegis, they got the Reincarnate. You have to run. And instead, just both cores died. The staying power of Smashers in this fight is something. They didn't have the egg. With that reinitiation they did, huge. Yeah, you kill it off, but it just doesn't matter. Like, your troll's dead after that. He popped ulti just to be sure that he could take out the egg, and I would say they would take it tier 3s, but no. Or tier 4s rather. Instead, just 2 racks. You take those.
Have you seen the Hex yet go off from rASmus? He's got the shard, but I
just watching that last fight.
Little piggy.
And there. Okay. And now the track gold is starting to get ridiculous. It's level 2 track. There were so many kills under the influence. It's like an extra 500 gold per kill. And when you feed away these bonuses, it's just... before you know it, it's an extra item on every enemy player. And it needs to get out of hand quick. That might even be Megas.
Tornado to start things off here. They're going to try and deal with his Dark Seer. Meanwhile, Skiter is looking and hunting Stormstormer. The Shellgrave is there, but if he can just stay on top of him, maybe they can actually kill this Invoker. There is going to be that egg out there. Skiter, he doesn't really have anything to do here. He tries in vain to run down a hero, but that is it. Wow. And he does have buyback, but they're going to call it. They know it's going to be Megas. They don't really have much of a hope to defend it any longer. Ultimately, Kyle, felt like a lot of that early game just left Tundra with very few options.
Yeah, this Darkseer pick so far has not looked strong in any game that we've seen it. The laning phase bottom puts you in such a hole. Ace is allowed